Guys, same thing. Mic adapter broke before, but it doesn't stop me from continuing to get you guys another video. So, same thing. Today, we're going to be discussing Proverbs. Mainly, Proverbs, highlighting the first chapter and the foundation of the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. So what is wisdom? Wisdom is the application of knowledge and understanding in correlation with biblical truth. What that means is applying life situations from God's perspective, taking out our own understanding and applying it from God's situations and his judgment and his interpretation, how we should interpret life scenarios, as well as understanding certain things from his perspective and not of our own. So from Proverbs chapter 1 verse 7, it says, "The fear of the Lord equals wisdom, is the beginning of knowledge. Fools despise wisdom and instruction." So what does this mean, the fear of the Lord? The fear of the Lord is not necessarily being afraid of God, it's just of being in reverent awe of the Lord, being in submission, as well as actual love and respect for the Creator. And that's the foundation of wisdom. To put it simply, it's like having a child looking up to their parent. As a child, whatever your parent, for example, if it's my dad's an electrician, I look up to him and he is the foundation for myself. He's who I aspire to be. I love him, I show him respect. And as him being an electrician, I think he can do anything. It's that same sort of dynamic you have with God. You look up to him, you're maybe fearful at times where you think you did something wrong, and then you may have that sense of fear, but that's not the same thing when it comes to the Lord. Because even the times you mess up, the Lord will still forgive you. It will still show you the love and compassion, no matter how many times you stumble. But even in this same analogy where you're looking up to your Father, you're looking up to him with respect and awe because they know more than you. It's the same thing with our biblical Father and Jesus Christ and God. We look up to him with the same reverence and awe, and that's where the fundamentals of the fear of the Lord comes from. And then within the book of Proverbs, not only highlighting wisdom, they split the wisdom foundations into three aspects. All of the main premise is us chasing Lady Wisdom, where that's bestowed upon us, and the pursuit of wisdom is lifelong. But then they also highlight three different characters within the book of Proverbs. One, the wise, which is basically self-explanatory with what I said before. The wise is understanding and acknowledges that wisdom doesn't come from the world, but it comes from God. And they're very keen on humbling themselves and submitting their own understanding to pursue wisdom from God's perspective. Two, the simple. The simple is teetering between being wise and being the fool, which I'll mention afterwards. The simple has a sort of on the fence position where they don't know if they're in the pursuit of being wise or they're more content with being the fool. They're not actually taking the initiative to pursue wisdom full force, and they're still relying on sometimes their own understanding, which can be foolish. The fool, unfortunately, like I said, just disregards instruction, disregards their own interpretation. They think that what they believe and their own understanding, their acquisition of knowledge and wisdom is self-sufficient, it's reliant. They don't need to be corrected, they don't need to be instructed. But like I said before, the beginning in the fear of the Lord is the foundation of wisdom. If you humble yourself and understand that wisdom is bestowed upon you from God, you will do no wrong, you will fail at no venture. You will be provided with wisdom. It reminds me, even within my book here, it showcases from the book of James, chapter 1, verse 5. It says, "If any of you is lacking in wisdom, ask God who gives to all generously, and it will be given unto you." Ask all who gives generously, and it will be given unto you. Wisdom isn't just something that God's just keeping to himself. He's hiding it in his back pocket and be like, no, you can't have it. He will give it to you if you humble yourselves and seek it out generously. Let me even just showcase the verses for you guys. I'm not going to put up on the screen. Same thing. Let me go back to the other one and showcasing the first Proverbs. "The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. Fools despise wisdom and instruction. It goes back to understanding those three characters: being wise, being simple, and being a fool. Most of you guys aren't foolish because you're watching this video. You're taking the chance to humble yourselves and deepen your own understanding of God's divine intervention. So at most, you're literally being simple, or you are wise. But even then, if you are wise, the pursuit of your wisdom doesn't end just by how much you think you know, because you're always able. That's the point of being humbled. You understand it, where God is continuously providing with that wisdom. You also have to keep seeking Him, and you will find the wisdom that you're looking for. So like I said, at most you guys are either wise or the simple. The simple, sometimes it's hard to be in that instance. That was me before too, where you're teetering on the fence. You're trying to rely on your own understanding, your own way of and foundations of doing things. You're not fully giving yourself and trusting God to be able to take what you know and actually apply it and magnify it to something greater. We can be foolish in that instance where we're still relying on our own understanding, but like, okay, God, I know you can do this, but hold on, like I have a good understanding and foundation of what is going on. You can't allow that situation to happen. That's why most people can be in this category of the simple, because you're teetering on the fence of giving it to God and still relying on your own volition. Once we relinquish our understanding, where, like I said, the fundamental is the fear of the Lord, then we have a deeper way to be able to connect with Him and then be bestowed upon the wisdom to help us in no matter what facet of life is. Like I said, the core foundation in the root word of wisdom is being able to use God's biblical understanding of truth and applying it to life scenarios. So friends, we have a decision to make with us today. As already alluded to before, we are not foolish, but we also have to make the decision as, are we going to continue being simple and half-hearted, or are we going to commit ourselves to being wise and pursuit of Lady Wisdom by trusting God wholeheartedly? Thank you. God bless, guys.